procedures
senators,
of the House.
Please sit in silence.
And our students should learn that the issue of quorum, understanding 39, is that we should have a minimum of 15 senators in the House to allow the matter to proceed. Mr. Speaker, I was raising the issue on clause 23, role of county governments, 1D, regulating the cutting or destruction of cotton in order to conserve and protect resources devoted to the cotton industry in respective county. And I was just saying, this is one of the colonial and relic section of the law that was in the Tea Act. And I hope and pray that this clause 23 1D should be deleted or amended or refreshed by the author, that is Senator Siengo, so that under the Tea Act, Madam Speaker, and we thought it was part of under the Tea Act because in Nandi we grow tea, in Nandi Hills, in Aldai, in many parts of Nandi, we had a lot of struggle because when you cut down even one tree, the law said you could be arrested. Of course, the Wazungus or the colonialists had their own thinking, Madam Speaker, by forcing us to plant tea, among others. Although that tea, Madam Speaker, has become a problem up to now, as you are aware, across the country, where most of our people were evicted, Madam Speaker, most of our people lost, and that is why we have huge land historical injustices, especially in tea-growing areas, including Nandi. So this section of the law, I think it evokes sad memories on why people like Dendan Kimati, Koitalel Arap Samoe, Mekatili Wamenza, among others, Madam Speaker, fought the freedom. So this clause, respectively, should need to look at it, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when you look at that is clause again, clause 23. That is clause 23 2J. In collaboration with law enforcement agencies, enhance security in cotton growing areas. I don't know the importation of that part of the law, because I'm only aware people are stealing coffee, sacks and beans, especially from certain part of this country. I don't want to mention the region, Madam Speaker, so that I don't appear that I'm profiling certain regions. And you know the famous Chepkube, Madam Speaker, and big names were being mentioned to the highest office in the land those days of Chepkube. That was happening in Uganda, especially on the issue of coffee. So I don't know this part of the crop. Why should you need collaboration of security agencies? Yet it is not a threat. It cannot be used scientifically to create biological warfare or biological weapons of mass destruction, Madam Speaker. And therefore, the importation of that part of the law by the author of the should relook or reward that, because we might think that cotton is in a manner like gold, that people, Madam Speaker, might want to go and uproot cotton somewhere in Busia or somewhere in Mutembei or somewhere in Mombasa is a security issue, Madam Speaker. And therefore, this is not a security issue. This is just like any other crop. So because the practicability on the importation of the law will be simple. How many farms can the police walk into? Madam Speaker, when we are doing badly, it is one police officer against more than 3,000 people. In fact, we are not meeting the threshold of United Nations as recommended, Madam Speaker. So if we cannot be protected at that level, then the justification of the importation of that part of the law, Madam Speaker, needs to be relooked at, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when you look at the licensing of manufacturer, you are creating this section as if it is elitist. We want even cooperative societies, the hustler. Madam Speaker, and you have to be aware there is what we call hustler fund, where we are giving money to individuals and then we are giving money to SACCOs. So, Madam Speaker, those circles and individuals should be given opportunity to also develop their own manufacturing process of cotton ginnery, Madam Speaker. You know, now this part of the law will make the bourgeois and the wealth and the elitists smile all the way to the bank. Yet we are talking about bottom up, Madam Speaker. So we need to think about the people at the bottom as we go up, Madam Speaker. And I can see Senator Ogola, she's smiling shyly because she's enjoying the gospel. Madam Speaker, when you look at under clause 23 there, a person shall not engage in manufacture or processing of cotton products unless such person has applied for, obtained a license in accordance with this. But you don't want to need, Madam Speaker, the ease of doing business. And that is why our brothers and sisters from your side, they always say the ease of doing business in Kenya is bad. But we are making a law that will become a process, of course. Madam Speaker, have you walked into some of these shops here in Nairobi, where our brother Senator Sifuna is from? You walk, Madam Speaker, into a shop, and on the wall there is so many license of public health, license of music copyright society, license of NEMA. You know, how can we say ease of doing business like Rwanda or like Singapore, if even under this law we are creating another license again? We might even come up with license of KFIS, KFRI, AFA. But Speaker, what we should be doing, we should be saying we synchronize the issuance of license. For example, if we use the license of AFA, Agricultural Food Authority of Kenya, AFA, for example, we say we use that one for issue of agricultural products. Because how can we say, and that is what, by the way, Madam Speaker, it will give corruption. And that is why when you go to City Hall here, the single business permit, even at the county levels, because I've sat some time in the public accounts, and the way governors are raising their own source revenue through single business permits, Madam Speaker, you walk into the office and you imagine the whole wall is mosaic. You no longer see the color of the paint of that shop, simply because everybody comes with their license. You board Embasava, you want to go to Kitengela. I'm told Kitengela is the nearest place, or Ngong. And Madam Speaker, the song called Enda Usikie Vibaya Huko Kwenu, when you want to listen, the people of copyright society just walks into the matatu and they say, where is the license to allow you to listen to that song that says, who is your guy? So I don't know. So at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, it is the biggest challenge. I think this Senate, we must think, and I can see a number of serious colleagues here, even at the lowest level. And I want to ask Senator Sifuna, can you have advised Governor Sakaja to streamline the issuance of license? They are destroying and frustrating our hustlers and those people who are selling you shoes the other day at night. I want to imagine, Madam Speaker, Senator Sifuna is not only active at night. I hope he is also active during the day, Madam Speaker. When you move, Madam Speaker, because I had only 5 points on the aspect of revocation of the license, I think what my proposal is, it should be easy to give you the license, but hard to revoke it. I think that should be easier, so that you protect, because, Madam Speaker, somebody can be malicious and decide to withdraw your license, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the funds of the board, of course, Madam Speaker, on this part, the funds of the board shall consist of monies appropriated by Parliament. Where is the money? Madam Speaker, you are aware that how can, and you know it is good, Senator Siengo is part of the people who are questioning the Finance Bill 2023. How can we get the money if you do not allow us to pass the Finance Bill 2023 to get the money to appropriate to this board? And Madam Speaker, we have just said in House Levy Fund, it is 3%. For people who earn more than certain amount, it's only 2,500. And the biggest employer, which is government, will match the same amount. and you can reclaim your money within the 7 years, that is 2,500, Madam Speaker. So how does it, and Madam Speaker, you need to protect me from my chair, Senator Kajwang and Senator Ledama. I don't know what they are eating, but it looks like they are. You need to appropriate monies. Where do you get this money if we do not collect through taxes? As we talk, the debt ceiling, Madam Speaker, that was raised by Parliament was 8 trillion. Both local and foreign debt, Madam Speaker, to this country is 9.4 trillion. As we talk today. So it is either we tax, we pay through the tax, or we borrow more. Borrowing more, Madam Speaker, is no longer sustainable. Because with time, the country might not be able to repay and we might be default. And we lose serious national strategic assets. Madam Speaker, I remember our former president, when he was giving out the interview in Mombasa, he had said he would disclose the agreement of the Chinese company that financed the SGR. Madam Speaker, no disclosure was ever made. So we don't know whether JKIA was a collateral or Mombasa port, because with time, the creditworthiness and raising of taxes and revenue becomes a challenge, Madam Speaker. And therefore, I think, Senator Siengo, you need to look, because you need also to have a board. I wish you could add even, apart from, I think donations can work, grants, loans, or gifts made to the board, and I think that is better. It can sustain the board. But talking about appropriating monies, from where I sit, and looking at projecting the economic situation of the country, we might not have spare money to put it into the board, Madam Speaker. Finally, on the issue of violation of the law, that is the final part, Madam Speaker. Like incentives, of course, I agree with you. What you should be pushing is that let us also give subsidized fertilizer to maize farmers, to cotton farmers, to tea farmers, to coffee farmers, to sugarcane farmers. Let us give everybody a standardized subsidized, Madam Speaker. On the issue of clause 45, because I'm closing that one, a person who commits an offense under this act for which no penalty is provided is liable on conviction of not less than 20,000. Or not twice the value of the cotton or byproduct. Madam Speaker, I think 20,000 is small money. If you want to make this law to be deterrent, Madam Speaker, for you and me who studied criminal law, is you should create the law to be deterrent, to discourage people. So if you say 20,000, somebody will pay. Why don't you increase, Senator Siengo, to even 1.5 million or 1 million to deter? Because the aim or provision of an offense of sentencing and punishment, Madam Speaker, is to deter individuals from participating. And also increase, you can put up to 3 years maximum jail term or both. And also I agree with you on the aspect of corporate governance, especially on lifting the veil. Of course, if you misappropriate the funds, and Senator Siengo, and through you, Madam Speaker, you have had the commitment of the President that he will not entertain any corruption or misappropriation of public funds. And you saw swept clean KEMSA. We are sweeping clean the issue of sugar cane, not sugar cane, the sugar. And I'm told somewhere here in Nairobi, somebody bought a half a kilo. When they want to make tea, it turned into black. So the commitment of the President, and I agree with you, on punishing the corruption, has been how high or close you are. You must fail full force of the law. And I think that's a goodwill that we need as a country. Because if it is from the highest office, and he didn't tell us 100 days like during COVID, but I'm saying we served in the COVID committee then. And at that time we were told within 100 days heads will roll. This one, when Global Fund only reported, those people were fired, Madam Speaker. So The an upshot of this bill is the intention is good, the form is good, but maybe to remove one or two only clauses that I think it might affect. Madam Speaker, and you know there is no provision of the law that lies idle. You might just find one provision that will affect everything, that will negate the goodness of the bill. So I hope and pray that by the passage of this law, it will give opportunity to most of our cotton farmers. My only worry, Madam Speaker, is the National Assembly. And I was happy that Senator Moses Masika Wetangula was elected as Speaker. Madam Speaker, when the bills from National Assembly come, we process in a record speed. Even some of us whose bills have been, you see National Assembly bill has been brought forward. But when our bills, if we pass this today, it takes forever to be passed by National Assembly. And Senator Mahanzo knows that National Assembly, normally in conclusion, in quick succession, normally uses article, is it 110 on 110.3 on money bill. But as Speaker, I hope this bill, the National Assembly will fast track the passage. Let us work in concurrence so that we don't need to fight over our legislative business. With those many remarks, to congratulate my sister and wish her well, I hope to see fruition of this bill and revive our cotton farming in the country once again. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I have a communication on the visit